So you obviously touched on a bit then, the risk assessment and fraud detection. So how has AI impacted those areas? Just a bit more, if you could elaborate.
Yeah, sure. Let's look at the risk assessment maybe first. So I think in general, underwriters have always used models, right? Statistical models in order to assess certain risks. Especially, of course, in the commercial insurance area, this is becoming more of an individual offering as well, right? If you basically want to get insurance for a large fleet of cars, you might have an underwriter looking at your individual particular risk. So I would say with AI and Gen AI, it becomes much easier for underwriters to perform like this kind of task, this kind of risk assessment task. And it can also become more feasible to basically include non-traditional data in the process. So what I mean with non-traditional data is basically like external data factors, right? So that is from outside the contractual agreement between the insurance company and the customer. So, I don't know, things like data from social media, sensor data that we mentioned, weather data, stock market data, maybe for some products and whatnot. So basically external data is a big topic here. So in general, I definitely believe that risk assessment accuracy, has been and will continue to improve with AI simply because of the better performance of these algorithms. So the fraud detection you also mentioned, I mentioned also in the beginning, this is, of course, it's one of the most important areas for AI in insurance, or let's say at least it's an area where AI has been used for quite some time already. So it was one of the first use cases that many insurance companies looked at was actually fraud detection and anti-fraud measurements. So, it's kind of a no-brainer, and it's also very easy, to think of a business case to basically convince your stakeholders that it's probably a good idea to use, models, statistical models, AI, etc., to detect fraud, because fraud like exaggerated claims, even completely fake accidents, and so on. So it's basically easy to get the buy-in also from decision makers. So insurers have trained AI systems to detect anomalies, pattern in the data for quite some time. Obviously, here we're more maybe in the realm of traditional, like supervised machine learning. You basically use historical training data of insurance fraud cases, and you then feed them to an algorithm but I think you can also, use Gen AI, for example, again, for quick text summarization, or basically include new unstructured data, especially in the process. And overall, in this whole topic, and I think this is true for almost every area that we talked about, AI and Gen AI can also simply increase operational efficiency, right? Both in risk assessment, in anti-fraud, but also in other areas, right? Stuff like data entry that is often still done manually, initial claim reviews in the claims area, reading and summarizing police reports, other text, and so on. And this, again, would then free up also the time for people to work on more complex stuff, that needs maybe more decision making, or needs, let's say, natural intelligence.
Yeah, I think obviously fraud detection. I mean, just from your view, does it happen a lot? Obviously, it's a big number that's been lost.
Yeah.
So do you come across it a lot in your line of work?
So I think I read recently a number that like 1 in 10 claims filing in the German insurance market is at least flagged for suspicious, potentially fraud claims that are then investigated further. So yeah, it's definitely not an uncommon thing, unfortunately. It's not often, or it's not always, that someone makes up a claim or lost completely, but it often happens that people maybe exaggerate a little bit their claim.
Okay, interesting. So I guess that's what obviously people want to know.